Some of you might be wondering, what does the Season 1 stand for in the file? I was trying to divide up the series a little bit, and in my mind, I think Season 1 will continue until all the accounts gets 5D plus, and so after that we'll call it Season 2. I think I'm just going to play a very casual opening this time. I'm just going to do a 3-3 invasion, and then Hane and connect and jump out. Goes with Mr. Kobayashi's very flexible and calm style. I think this move is quite big, especially when the stone is far away. The clamp pretty much is impossible to kill. So white is quite inefficient here unless white protects, and we'll see that afterwards when black... Actually, I'm going to do that immediately. It's really hard for white to kill this. Okay, I probably shouldn't have extended here first before extending out, before jumping. I should have jumped immediately, but oh man. Okay, this is so embarrassing. I was just gonna explain why it's bad for white, and then I played like the incorrect move here. The reason why it was bad was because it's actually quite easy to invade. When I pushed down first when white Hane'd, the local shape for black was a lot worse, and that actually makes quite a big difference. So that was not what I intended, but we'll just have to continue just like this. I mean, it's still easy to settle, but it just doesn't put much pressure on white anymore, and that was mostly what I wanted to do. Oh well, this didn't go as I intended, but it's all right. It's all right. We'll make do, and we'll continue the fight. I'm gonna double Hane this, and then get the forcing move here. White's playing quite well because the center is the more important direction. So I can't just let white keep going. I'm gonna have to play there. Well, this isn't super successful. It's relatively okay because after this, white doesn't have any territory on the, well, very small territory on the bottom, but white did gain a lot of influence in the middle, so that kind of forced me to do something here. Well, I think I can just invade because it's still pretty open. With this, Joseki always descend. Don't descend over here. It's slightly worse. It's not a huge deal, but I think it's a good habit to get into. Okay, I think I'm going to cut here first. And see what white does. If white Atari is here, well, actually, white should Atari here. Okay, I just realized that my move was completely... Oh, okay. Dang. My opponent caught my mistake. Oh, good move, good move. Pushing in and then capturing this. Well, I think it's still fine. It's about 15 points, but white spent a move and also black gained a little bit here. So I'm completely okay with this. If black is not doing super well, it's probably because of what happened early on. It's probably not what happened here. So I do have the ladder, which means I can wedge. Okay, but this is nice. I get to settle here, and also there's a cut. Okay, so white did protect that. Okay, well, my opponents do see a lot more things. Okay, I think I can extend and Hane. I should Hane this side. Yeah, I'll Hane this side. And then I can just cut these off. Sorry, not these, but this stone off in Sente. And then we'll make a jump. Oh, this is quite comfortable. Pretty big territory on the left side. And before I know it, I'm blitzing with my opponent again. Okay, I kind of said that I would stop when I hit 5 okay, I'm gonna stop. Okay, no more of this. No more of this. This is bad. This is really bad. It's just a terrible example, and it's not really a good way to play. Guess I don't really want to play a move like this, but I think it's pretty much needed at this point. If I defend the corner directly, then white's going to slide, so I'm going to just exchange that first before defending. Black is really ahead in terms of territory, though, and in the middle here, black can keep reducing. Oh, maybe I could have... actually, never mind. I thought I could have extended back, but that really hurt the territory, so it's not a good idea. I think I'll just extend then. That was a weird place to end up in Gote for white. Oh, I should have blocked here probably. Huh. Well, this move doesn't seem to work though. Okay. I'm playing fast here because I do know what I'm doing, and usually it's okay. But if you're not sure what you're doing, don't play like this. Oh man. When I blocked here, it was not a good move because white could have extended out directly. But right now, white is simply dead. If white doesn't connect, there's actually 3 liberties with the 3 stones. But there's no way for white to take advantage of, or to capture the 2 stones in the middle. Unless white Ataris and then does that stuff. But oh, wow. Well, that's actually a nice move. That is a good move. But then I don't have to play Ko. I can Atari first. And then the middle just escapes, so now this is pretty much won. I can actually play a knight's move here. That's nice to connect the middle group back. And also, I'm going to play a jump here, something like that. Not now, though. Sometime later. This is definitely not an even trade because white's not even completely alive in the corner yet. Can extend back. That was probably a bad exchange. It's good for black. Yeah, so white's trying to get at this cut, but still white cannot. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, never mind. White can cut. Okay, dang. I thought that I had the liberty here, but when white cuts here, man, I'm just doing horribly. Oh man. Okay, wait. Okay, white didn't cut. Oh, if white cut, if black pushes, white can just push in here. Okay. I was getting red to fight the ko, but my opponent didn't end up doing that. Okay, I thought he was just gonna make a ko, but I almost just had my mouse there. But they were only going for a sente. Well, I think this is going to be pretty smooth sailing, because after black connected in the middle, black just has more territory. Oh, I can't double Atari. I almost thought I could. I do want to protect most of my territory, though. I was thinking of a very aggressive move there, but I decided not to take that on. Oh, I just realized I could cut here first, directly. That's actually such bad news for white. Yeah, I'm not misreading anything, right? Yeah, because white absolutely cannot let black cut over here. But now this cut is sente, so black can just capture everything. I don't think my opponent realized that this upper group is actually dead. And it's not really a trade. Okay, that was it. So that was an incredibly fast game. So let's take a quick look at this game. In the beginning, I made a big mistake in the lower left. And I mentioned that in the game, which was this push. I mean, clamp, I guess. Because if black just jumps directly, white will not jump out here. Because black hasn't pushed yet, so that means black can actually jump or do something on the right side later on, and white would be very uncomfortable. But after I did this, when white haned, then it's hard for black to do anything because, well, if black jumps, then white can just push out, and this exchange is going to be bad no matter what. So I was really I was kind of upset about that during the game. And then later on, I did make a big mistake here. Cutting, I was trying to get this, but of course white's not going to do that, and in the game white caught that mistake. And after that, black, white obviously gained here, but it wasn't too bad because black captured the stone in Sente, which helped reduce the middle. And losing these stones at this stage of the game wasn't too devastating, so I continued. And later on the lower right, that was the next mistake, and that could have been pretty big because white could push and extend here. It's going to be really hard for black to capture these now, and in all of white's strength, it's going to be very hard for black to follow up. So my block there could have been a very it could have been a move that got me into a very sticky situation. But luckily, my opponent didn't do that. So I should have just done this, and I think black is still relatively comfortably ahead. Getting some Sente moves, then going into the endgame. So maybe something like that, and then reduce the middle. Okay, I think that's it for that game. Let's move on to the next one. Come on, please be 6 God. Please. 7. 7. What is that again? Oh, nice. High let's go. And we're already back at the high account. Last time we had a very fighting style game where we did manage to trick our opponent there. And we'll see what happens in this one. Oh, I'm surprised that at 5 Dan, people still play this Joseki. I remember I did in my Joseki video, I mentioned that this was recommended, I think like 1Q or something? 1Q and 1 Dan. So you shouldn't play this Joseki. It's just really inefficient for white. Well, I guess we'll do that. Or do we extend? Maybe I'll extend instead. I'll extend to the side instead. And then if white approaches, I can always attach into the 3-3. Looks like this game is going to be very calm, which is very different from the usual games that in the series. Oh. I'm usually happy with this approach for black because you keep most of the corner and white still has to spend another move. So I'm usually relatively happy. Also with the 3-5, I'm also usually pretty happy when my opponent does something like this to avoid fights. So since white played the large knight, this is a relatively comfortable move because it threatens the attachment and also expands at the same time. And wow, the peep here, wow, this is an interesting opponent. This is really good because I get asked a lot how to deal with this type of player. And although I've kind of subtly kind of went through this, but not in really great detail. So I'm sure we'll see a lot more of this in this series. When people invade and they just hate your territory, what do you do? And the first advice I would say is don't try and kill it. If you're only just trying to kill these groups, chances are they're going to live. It's really hard to kill groups, and if you try too hard, you're not going to end up benefiting that much. So a better thing to do would be to just think about where you could gain from the attack. That's the first thing. That's the first thing you should think about. Unless you're really behind and killing the group is the only way you can win. But that's a different story. So what's the first thing we should think about here? Well, first of all, we don't want to play knight's move because there's so much space. So if white attaches and just lives, then that's not going to be very good for black, in my opinion. Instead, what we should do is first we should take away the base. And if white runs, then that's perfect, because not only we have forcing moves here, but we also have a very big thing to expand, as well as finish off the territory in the top right. So I think this is a very logical move here. And right now, white's just going to have to find ways to live. There's just nothing else to do, I guess, because this is a very big weak group. And it's in the middle of a very big wall. And at this point, I'm going to connect under. This might not be very intuitive, but connecting under is not only blocking here is sente for white. So it's very big territory, and it also is a lot of eye space. The other move would be to play a knight's move here. But again, it's not obvious what to gain from the attack, especially if white can find some free sente eye space here, which is why I'm going to just connect back. I decided to go with the knight's move to have less forcing moves. If black extends under, white can still push here in sente. So that's why I did that. And now white pushed, and at this point I am thinking about something very aggressive. Okay, I was just going to say, if white haned, then because there are forcing moves here, black can actually do the forcing move first and then cut. But in this case, I'm very happy because, well, white is in a very bad direction, playing in an area where white is not making any points at all. So I guess just do the knight's move, get the sente move out of the way. And then we'll get this sente move out of the way. And then we'll play another knight's move here. This move is also very important. It's important not to just play over here, because if you think carefully, this part is not really the influence. Like this, there's not much value here. If white goes here, white's not going to make too much because black already has stones here. But this is really empty. This is the more important part of the board, which is why this move is big. If black extends here, white's going to play the knight's move, and then again, it's going to be not clear what we're gaining from the attack. But right now, it's still obvious. And since white took the bottom, which is a very big move, then we continue with the attack. So we extend now, and of course, since we got this move already, white doesn't have a very good escape. So I think we're going to keep trying to pressure white's territory on the top. Okay, so white just let us get that sente. Well, this group is still quite weak, but the next move, I don't see anything immediate that we're gaining. If we jump here, although like having a stone here like feels nice, but again, it's not really immediate. So I'm going to cap here because it's also going to help my group a little bit, and we already see some potential for black on this side. And that is going to be my motive for the next attack. I mean, it's one attack, but for each move, you got to think, what are you gaining? Like for these moves, it's really obvious. We're gaining a lot of potential here, which is pretty solid territory already. And then now we're going to gain some more potential on the left side. And, oh, okay, I think white has a connection problem. Okay, but if we ignored that, the next move I would have played would be just to play this. So white has a connection issue, and I don't think white can actually deal with that. Yeah, but you can kind of see the kind of flow of the attack, right? Black first gaining territory, but always, so I guess that's really the key, right? Just make sure you're always paying attention to what you're getting. If you're not sure or it becomes unclear, then probably you shouldn't attack that way. Right now I wanted to wedge and connect instead of cut because there's still this cutting point and I didn't want to give white the extra stone here. So I'm still going to cut here. And also there's another cut now. And white is actually falling into pieces. Yeah, sure, that's sente, but White still gotta deal with these groups. Oh, that's an interesting move. So I can capture it though. So I'm not sure what white is trying to do here. I can just net this. Or I can jump here. I think I can jump here, and that's better. It just completely cuts off. And since black can net this at any time. So at this point, we're really just getting into reading. What I was trying to go over earlier was more related to the general flow of the game. More like, I guess, theoretical stuff. When you get into the fight, like you can see, like all the fight has started. We have this group now, this white group and this black group, and so on. When you get into the fight, then all that matters is the reading. You don't care about shape. You don't care about you don't care about literally anything else. It's does your move work, and if it does, you play it. If it doesn't, then you shouldn't play it. So that's fighting, I guess. Okay, but I'm pretty sure white is dead here. Okay, what I just I don't think white realized I could cut here. Okay, I guess I have to cut. I wanted to extend back, but if I don't cut, white can extend over here, and then white would be able to threaten to live in Sente. But so I actually do have to cut here. I was trying to think of like a better way to kill it, so it's more, so there's less variations to worry about. But you know, I guess at this point it doesn't really matter because white is completely in a lot of black stones. There's something interesting going on right now, and I can see that white is playing really quickly all of a sudden. I see this a lot. It seems like when it gets to an important point in the game, players tend to speed up, which doesn't make any sense to me, especially on Fox or Tai Gem. I'm not sure why that is. Why do people, if you know, like, tell me, because I really want to know. Why do people play quickly all of a sudden, especially when you get into this situation? Like, are they trying to escape quickly, like run away or something? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like right now, white is playing really quick, but everything is dead here, and white definitely should have spent more time thinking about these moves. It's kind of strange, and it's also a pattern. It's pretty common pattern in most players at around this level. So I'm really curious if you know, do let me know in the comments, because I think this is a pretty big mistake that pretty much everyone makes. It's very interesting. Well, I'm not sure why white has kept playing, because everything is dead, obviously, and how is it even possible that white will have enough territory? Well, anyway, we'll continue and finish it off. Just like every game, if you're ahead, you gotta finish it off. If you can't finish off a leading game, then there's no point in being ahead. So, there's a lot of things I can do actually. I'm actually thinking whether if it's worth it, because I actually don't need to do any of this stuff. Maybe I'll clamp. Okay, well, it's fast forward time. So I'm gonna finish off the end game and we'll be back with a summary. Okay, here we go. We have finished the game. Actually, my opponent had to make sure that I saw that there wasn't a livery race before they resigned. A little bit of stuff happened, but nothing too major. I think the method of attack in this game is incredibly useful. So if you're always just constantly not sure how to deal with your opponent's invasions, this is a good example of what you could do when the board is open and you have a lot of potential. You could just chase them away and snag a lot of potential and territory along the way. So I think that's something that's really important. Also, don't play this Joseki if you're 5-den. This is really bad for white. It's really inefficient. You should always just, attach, pincer, whatever. Pretty fun game, and let's, come on, please. Come on, give me a 0. No, okay, so we're back on Ren Sei. Alright, no 6 god yet, but let's go to Ren Sei. Alright, here we go, Ren Sei on white. Ren Sei. If you ask me what account I'm most nervous about, it's gotta be the Ren Sei account. When it gets to 7, then I'm just not very confident with this. Especially I hate the pincer variation, so kind of have to jump. Okay, so we have another Joseki here. Looks like black will have a big moil definitely for this game. Wow, this game just super fast once again. So I don't know what to say. I mean, just super fast, and we just roll. This move was a little too premature. Black should at least Hane first. If black cuts right now, I think white would be very happy. Okay. The shape here is just so bad, and giving up the corner is so not worth it. Let's actually jump first. See what black does here. Wow, black extended under. Interesting. Okay. That's a lot. There's a lot more aji now here still. I'm gonna push over here. And yeah, getting the corner was really nice for white. And now it's just a matter of dealing with the center weak group, which I don't think is too hard to deal with because there's just so much forcing moves to take advantage of. I want to push and block, but maybe that's a little too aggressive. Oh, if black blocks on the right, oh. I can actually block here. Because black can't cut. This is a really interesting shape. Yeah, it's quite interesting. And black can't do anything. Okay, I was gonna say black can't do anything here because when white blocks here, it's sente, so white can just push through or extend. Either way. Black doesn't want these 3 stones anymore? That's pretty big, isn't it? What? It's gonna... My opponent's not gonna even care about these. Wow. That's a big sacrifice, I think. Well, black and Hane here, but still... Not only did black sacrifice the 3 stones, but also the right side, if black lives, it's gonna hurt the territory here. Yeah, at this point, white's all connected. Oh my. Do you see this person's username? This is... Wow, you guys can't see this, but if I open the info here, I'm like super distracted by this, but look here. This username, and it's got 1,000 wins and 1,000 losses. How did this person do it? So they must have created the account in the previous election, because there's no way they created this in this election. That's an amazing username. I want that username. Okay, no politics in random opening. Anyway, that just I didn't realize my opponent had this username until just now. But that was pretty fun. That was pretty fun. Okay, but this group is actually not completely alive. I didn't really want to worry about that now because this is also very urgent. There's no way for black to enclose this. And black has to actually connect here. Okay, since black didn't exchange, it is locally alive. So I do want black to exchange the Atari though. So I'm going to make sure black does that, because the outside 3 white stones are short on liberties, but after the capture, then there's going to be no problems. So in the future, I won't have to worry about black gaining a moil and stuff like that. Yep, so after exchanging these, it is alive, but it's quite a way to make a group alive. Now I can actually just invade without much trouble. And there's not too much to think about here. Pretty common variation. But black is going to let me jump out here. And what about this other group? What's so many Gote moves? It seems like my opponent was thinking for a while in the middle here, kind of after losing the stones. But right now they just played super quick here, so the time management is just an absolute mess. Even with 5-dan, it's like the timing of moves just are kind of they're really off, in my opinion. Yeah, well, we'll just capture these stones. And will be off. I'm surprised this username is allowed. I wonder if Fox has like a screening username. Because 1,000 wins, so he must have had this username for a while. Well, in this game, I think Black didn't take advantage of the influence at all. Especially making the empty triangle here was too early, and it let White just get, you know, a corner, and then it was easy to deal with the weak group. So at that point, I felt already really comfortable about the game. Yeah. Otherwise, it's, you know, the sabaki in the middle. It wasn't anything like too important. So don't worry about the sabaki in the middle if you're a little confused by that. It was more just taking advantage of Black's weaknesses and trying to read ahead. So don't worry about that if you're a little confused about that. Yeah, but so in order for Black to take advantage of something like this in the upper right, Black really needs to keep the group weak. So most of the time, you really shouldn't just jump here. Playing the pincer is, I would say 95% of the time, it's not going to be good. So right now, Black should still Hane, and that was what I was talking about earlier. Oh, whoops. Where's the review button? Oh, I can't review on this? I guess there's no review button. Okay. Maybe it's that? What is this? Okay. Oh, that's automatic game. Okay, so I guess with the auto match I can't really review, but I think how do I stop it? Okay, yeah. So at this point, Black should just Hane, and it'd still be a long game because White still has to worry about the weak group, and as long as Black has the territories, keeps White weak, then it's still a long game. Let's roll the next opening. What's gonna be? Come on, 0, please. No! Oh, I'm dying to play on the 6 God account again. We're so close to 9 Dan. I just want to get it back. Okay, we're back to the mini Chinese. After getting a couple of almost back-to-back mini Chinese, we're almost up to 5. Just 2 more games. And we gotta wait here, which means we can't really fully complete it. Oh. My opponent might let me. Well, actually, I can kind of do it. We can play this extension, which was the Joseki variation in the books a very long time ago. Okay, well, I think this is going to be a very fast game. The annoying thing about the left side is that what Black can actually cut and get both of these moves in Sente. So there isn't going to be any issues with the corner life and death. Now this is a good use of time, I think. So my opponent was blitzing, but then all of a sudden they paused because they probably thought there was something they could do on the left side. Otherwise, I don't see the reason why they pushed here. Huh. Well, after the long thinking session, they decided to push and cut, but you see, I do see things, even though I play quickly. I do see things. Okay, I don't make all mistakes. Unlike the last video. Well, I think this game is pretty much over already because black completely lost the stones here, which made the outside, both groups outside, really weak. Yeah, I think a lot of 3-dans on Fox like to exchange these moves. There's absolutely no reason why you should exchange these. So don't do it. They're just going to help your opponent get stronger on the outside without actually helping the eye space or the group in any way. Yeah, don't do this. And I think I just captured a group out of nowhere. Okay, so it's going to be a ko, though, unfortunately. That's going to make it a little bit more annoying. It's not a big deal, though. I can actually push here. Also, gain some points. Never forget to gain some points. No. So I have 3 outside liberties, and black also has 3 outside liberties, which means it's actually a direct ko. Yep, pretty complicated variation here, but yeah, that's why you always look through the moves in advance. And sometimes it's just that tiny little detail, that tiny little ko threat that wasn't going to be there otherwise, that lets you win. That feels good, doesn't it? Love to hear those sounds. At this point, I think I'll just invade this because it's just so empty. And I really don't think my opponent can capture this group. Nice. I didn't actually expect to get this peep in, but that felt pretty good to get that as well. Okay, now it's a sabaki lesson. No, it's not even sabaki, it's just living inside your opponent's territory. I think it's just so empty that it's really not too hard. Just make sure when you're living in your opponent's territory, every move it's got to be making eyes. Well, obviously Ryan, but actually you'd be surprised when I see people play in their opponent's territories. You know, it's not always the case. It's not always the case that they're making eyes with every move. But if you do make sure that you are, then it's going to be a lot easier to live, especially in a big space like this, especially when there's outside aji. You just exploit this completely. Yeah, this is just not killable. There's just too much outside agi here. I can even just capture the Blockstone here. And then come back. I could push first and then come back to attack this. This is just... I think Block is gonna die. Oh wait, no, I can't block. I can't block, I have to extend. So there's 6 here, which means 1 more to live. So Black can live in Gote, but this is this is pretty... Oh man, if you have to do this to try to kill your opponent, it's not gonna happen. It's really not gonna happen. There's too much eye space. It's way too much eye space, and I can make it go to eye in the middle. So this is just plain alive. It's actually almost Sente alive. Not quite though, almost. Probably, what was that, a 2-minute game? No, it's probably a bit longer than that. But anyway, maybe we'll do one more for this episode, just because how quick that was. That game was more of just like a reading exercise. There wasn't like too much about that. Wow, oh, 4-5 again. Oh, anyway, we'll do it. When are we gonna have 6 God? Who knows? Well, the next game was a very long one, and I think I'm going to end this episode right here. So I hope you enjoyed the video. We're going to start with High Eye in the next one. If you did enjoy, drop a like, leave a comment, and I will catch you in the next one.